Hi, everyone. The 2024 election is over. Donald Trump won in a pretty decisive way, getting the Electoral College as well as a popular vote. The Republicans got the majority in the Senate, and it looks like they're also going to get a majority in Congress. And the reactions have been pretty strong. And we're going to be looking at a lot of those reactions to these results, as well as some of the moments that happened during election night, like this one.
Brian Flores, you just voted.
I did.
And who did you vote for?
For Harris.
And tell me about how you came to this decision.
So I wasn't going to vote at all until my girlfriend was blowing up my phone telling me to go vote. And if I didn't, she was going to break up with me. So now I'm here.
Now, shortly after that, he said that he was just joking, but that clip did end up going viral, not because he was joking, but because of how unbelievably believable his joke was. I mean, I think we all know that one person who has been doing what Brian's girlfriend was doing. And also, I think that there may have been a shred of truth to that. Perhaps a slight pressure from his girlfriend, not saying that she was going to break up with him if he didn't vote for Harris, but perhaps saying that you're not going to get any nookie tonight if you don't.
I mean, is the country cooked? Yes. But the country was cooked, as I said, time and time again. Whether Kamala Harris wins or loses, the country is cooked. It's just a matter of how much worse it is going to get. With Donald Trump, it is definitely slated to get significantly worse. Not just this country that's cooked, though. Many other countries are cooked as well.
I don't know about you folks, but I find it hard to believe that the country is cooked or that it's going to get any worse or that the world is going to get any worse under Donald Trump, especially when that opinion is coming from one of the few people that I know online who think that America deserved 9/11. That person being Hassan Piker.
I can't believe Trump's actually going to win this fucking thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm so pissed off. Fuck. God damn it.
Now, I think it's pretty evident that Boogie's putting on an act for the camera. He's playing it up. Honestly, I think that Boogie didn't vote for Harris. I think if I were to put a considerable amount of money on it, I think Boogie voted for Trump. But we're all watching the show at this point, and it is hilarious to watch him play the role of what every white dude for Harris was doing on election night. And trust me, there were a lot of white dudes for Harris who had literal tears streaming down their face. Now, some of you probably thought that I was joking. You thought that I was making it up, that I was just trying to spin a narrative. No, there are literal hundreds of videos of dudes bursting into tears, having literal meltdowns. And I had to mute this one just because it had copywritten music playing in the background. But here's the thing. I don't think that there's any circumstance that justifies this kind of Toddleresque meltdown. Sure, you can be upset that your candidate lost, but to just record yourself throwing a fit with tears streaming down your face, that has to be the most cringe way of going down. Like, yes, you lost, sure, but just suck it up, plan better, strategize better, get an actual candidate that has a platform, has beliefs, isn't just going to abandon everything she thought was the way to govern a country a year ago just so she could try to win the election now. Find somebody authentic. Just be real for once and actually focus on the things that Americans care about, which is how expensive is it going to be for me to live in this country?
I'm sorry. No. Why? Do you really hate me that bad?
We need to reopen insane asylums. I don't think there's any justification whatsoever at any point in your life, regardless of the reason. If something tragic happens in front of you, you don't want to trust somebody like that with any sort of responsibility. And I don't know, it looks from my vantage point that this person is wearing scrubs. Are they like a nurse or a doctor in training? I would be seriously concerned having this person anywhere around anyone and anything I care about. This is clearly somebody who has an underdeveloped amygdala. Their limbic system is just going haywire. And I don't understand how people find this something suitable to post online for posterity. So many of these are going viral yesterday, and they're going to keep going viral. And some of these are going to be memes. They're going to last for years. I mean, this is how you want to be seen by your peers, by society like you, this voter bloc. You want to be seen as a people who lack complete and absolute self-control and ability to self-regulate. And you want the rest of the people who aren't capable of doing that to trust you with any sort of responsibility or power. You want us to trust that your decision is the one that's going to lead this country to a better place. I mean, do you have any level of self-awareness? I wouldn't give a toddler a pen out of fear that they would end up just poking their eye out with it. Why the hell would I give a toddler the entire country?
Yo, I'm scared to go to sleep. I might wake up a motherfucking slave. I can't do this no more. I should have kept my vote to myself because I knew it didn't fucking matter. I knew it didn't.
No, your vote matters. Even if you lose, your vote matters. I live in California. This state, almost 100% of the times in the last few years, has gone blue, has gone to the Democrat candidate, but I still voted because I wanted to help Donald Trump get the popular vote, and he did. So my vote counted that way. It gave him more of a referendum. Also, you're not going to be a slave. I don't know how you concocted this lie to yourself if this is already people trying to create this narrative that they're victims in a country that isn't proposing any sort of slavery. It's not going to happen. Donald Trump isn't going to do that. He didn't do it his first term. He sure as hell isn't going to do it now. Whenever I hear somebody say something that outlandish and ludicrous, I'm genuinely curious where they got that information from. Who are they talking to? What sources are they listening to? Are they reading the root? Like, who told you this? You're being manipulated by fear. That's why you think like this. That's why you think that your life is about to end because this man won an election. This man who literally, if anything, has said that he wants to completely get rid of income taxes. Like, talk about modern day slavery, income taxes. You're living your life to pay the government so that they can go and fight wars in other countries or just send a whole ton of money to other countries to fight proxy wars that have nothing to do with you. Imagine getting rid of that system. That would be amazing. And guess who's against that? Guess who's against the military-industrial complex? Guess who's hated by all those folks because he's against them? Donald Trump. It's incredible how often people are convinced to believe a lie that often acts against their own self-interests. Truly brilliant politicking when you think about it.
What I've noticed is that men are just genuinely not as concerned as women and don't quite take our concerns as seriously.
The greatest con that the Democrat Party has pulled has been against women, completely convincing an entire segment of women, which, by the way, only ended up being about 11% of the voters who went to vote. 34% of the voters came in to vote hoping for a better economy. Another 34% came to vote to try to save the democracy. 11% came in to vote specifically just for abortion rights, trying to save those rights. And that 11% have been basically converted by the Democrat Party because of the rhetoric and all the emotional appeal they've been putting out there. They've been converted into single issue voters. They don't give a fuck about anything else as long as they have this idea that they're going to have unlimited supply of abortions, when in reality, there aren't as many restrictions as the Democrats paint it out to be in abortions. Right now, each state is voting individually, state by state, on how they want to regulate abortions. Some states are being very restrictive. Other states aren't being restrictive. Now, all that being said, during the campaign, Kamala Harris was going around saying that Trump is going to pass a national abortion ban. Her Kamala HQ account on Twitter was saying that RFK wants to pass a national abortion ban. Two things that are complete and utter lies. First off, because they can't pass it. It wouldn't pass Congress and the Senate. That's how things work. Okay? It gets voted in Congress and in the Senate, and then it goes onto the president's desk, and then he signs it. So they wouldn't pass. Another thing that wouldn't pass is Kamala Harris's promise of codifying abortion rights. That wouldn't pass either. Also, there was just this hearing in Congress, which basically ended up dispelling all of these lies.
Just to clarify on this, are there any states where women face prosecution for having an abortion?
No.
Are there any states that criminalize miscarriage?
No.
Or the care for a miscarriage?
No.
Are there any states that criminalize removing an ectopic pregnancy?
No.
Are there any states that prohibit life-saving care for the mother?
No.
Are there any states where women have to be actively dying for a doctor to be able to act for her care?
No.
There's been a lot of rhetoric in this that I'm concerned pushes people away from getting access to health care. Vice President Harris, in a speech recently, said that women were being arrested and facing prosecution for experiencing miscarriages. Ms. Sackler, do you know of a single instance where a woman has been arrested for having a miscarriage or getting health care for that?
No, treatment for miscarriage is allowed under the law, and there have been instances where I think that one example of that that's been pointed to is misleading because the woman, I think she was in Ohio, the charges against her were not abortion related. And so it's misleading to use that as an example.
It's not only misleading, but it scares women away from getting access to health care.
I think it's really detrimental to the issue of abortion rights and self-serving to the interests of the Democrat Party that Democrats have basically been hammering away with a sledgehammer at this issue, basically creating emotional appeal after emotional appeal and just clouding it in hoaxes, so that they can energize this base of women who feel like they're being disenfranchised, when in fact, when you look at it legally, it's anything but that. Anyway, let's go back to some of the reactions.
What the fuck? Bitch! You fuck! What the hell?
I don't understand what the goal is here. Are you just seeking attention on the internet? Why do you record yourself doing these kinds of things with no shame or embarrassment whatsoever? Like, if I uploaded a video like that of myself, I would have to spend at least one entire month at home, completely isolated, thinking about what I did before I stepped out. This is something that happens a lot on the internet, and I see it primarily on the left. There is some of it on the right as well. I'm not just going to say this is just solely on the left. There's some of it on the right. People love creating performative bits of content that are utterly humiliating and posting it on the internet for the sake of getting attention, likes, engagement, hoping to become famous and get followers off of it, when in fact that all that you get is just backlash due to the cringe. It's just people hating on you. I mean, it ends up being a self-fulfilling cycle because you post this hoping for attention, people hate on you, call you cringe, and just say all kinds of negative things about you. Then all of a sudden you're depressed. And then what do you want to fulfill that depression? You want to post more content that makes you look cringe and stupid and foolish. And then you find yourself back again in the other side of that pendulum where people are hating on you. And it's just like, boom, you just go from side to side, from hate to needing attention to hate to needing attention, until you've reduced yourself and your self-worth down to almost nothing. There's no therapeutic value for this. You're just screaming into the void of the internet and creating more trouble for yourself. It's just, I just find it amazing that there are so many of these. We're going to look at a lot of them, but there are legitimate threads on Twitter with like 50 or more of these, and every single one is just increasingly more unhinged in a different way. If anything, it shows you the extent of human imagination and how creative people can get when they want to just figure out different ways of getting attention and letting their frustrations out like this. But I mean, there are enough people in the world to know that there are healthier ways to deal with being frustrated or upset with the outcome of an election. Tightening your fists and gritting your teeth and screaming into the wind and recording yourself doing it isn't really going to solve your problems. It's not going to fix the results of the election. Anyway, I'm going to save us some time, and I'm just going to put on a compilation that somebody made of many of these meltdowns, and we can just consume all of them all at once. I wish somebody would tell these people in the calmest way possible, because I don't think you could tell anything to these people without them losing their minds, even if it's calm, that this isn't productive at all. You're just reinforcing the way that people on the other side and people who are moderate, regular, normal people see your side. You're the crazies. You're the loonies. You're the reason why Donald Trump won, because people are looking at your side and seeing the crazies and going like, yeah, I don't know about that. I just want to just have a little bit more money in my pocket. I want to be able to buy a house. I want to be able to afford a car. I want to be able to put food in my kid's mouth, be able to afford health care for my parents. And that person screaming right there, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if they're really somebody I would trust with anything. much less choosing the leader of the free world. Anyway, lives at TikTok. We all know her. She's great. She made a find that is just insane. This TikToker posted this with zero shame, saying, when I become a hospice nurse so I can do elder abuse toward Trump voters, will anybody be mad? I'm sorry, what? You're actually unironically posting this on the internet, basically confessing to a crime, that because somebody has a different political leaning than you, that you're going to just harm them in one of the most frail state in their lives, when they're trusting, and them and their families are trusting you to take care of them. It goes without saying, this person has to be found, should never be allowed in the healthcare industry, in the care industry, whatever, shouldn't be allowed to take care even of a dog. I mean, if you are going to punish human beings for their political views because they disagree with you, you're not a trustworthy person. Why should anybody take you seriously or anything you have to say seriously? She later posted this saying, so much for the tolerant, loving left. Bro, I never claimed to be tolerant, you freaks. And you better hide your grandpa because I'm coming for him. She was later identified on TikTok. This is her account, Genius Girl Alert. I tell you folks, one of the follies of our generation is just how much we've bastardized the word genius. I remember a time where other people had to call you a genius in order for you to be considered a genius. Now you just get a minimum wage job working at the Apple store and you're a genius. It's that easy.
We know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And so I worry not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about our elderly and their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have. And I remember my father telling me many, many years ago that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights. And now I have less civil rights than I had when he told me that.
That's an absolute lie. She doesn't have any less rights than she did yesterday or the day before or a week ago or a year ago, a decade ago. You can go as far back as you want. She doesn't have any less rights. Her daughter doesn't have any less rights than she has. And also, it's kind of ironic that she's saying this while she lives in New York, a state that not only has legal abortion, but has one of the strongest abortion bills in the country, up to 24 weeks, no questions asked. And then after that, they allow abortion if the fetus is not viable and if the mother's life is at risk. It's crazy to me how these demagogues, which is what all the ladies in The View are, they're all absurd demagogues who are so invested in festering this like emotionally charged conversation around politics to influence people to keep voting for this toxic ass Democrat Party, that they just completely fabricate reality. They distort it as though we don't have access to Google, as though we can't just search up the laws in New York and see that a pregnancy is usually 40 weeks, up to 24 weeks. That's more than 50% into the pregnancy. You can get rid of it in New York. Like, what are you even talking about? Anyway, as per usual, all the celebrities that were on the Kamala train are now expressing their discontent. Billie Eilish said that this is a war on women. Weird way of fighting that war, especially when you consider, again, Billie Eilish lives in California, which has a law very similar to New York's. Ariana Grande also said, holding the hand of every person who is feeling the immeasurable heaviness of this outcome today. Why? Because you're going to have a little bit more money in your pocket, because normal Americans who aren't multimillionaires like you aren't going to have to struggle to pay for their groceries anymore, because people are going to be able to buy their dream homes. Interest rates are going to go down. Inflation is going to go down. What's the complaint here? Anyway, Cardi B endorsed Kamala Harris towards the end of Kamala's run. She had a very embarrassing speech moment that went viral. She was reading off of her phone, and now she's getting the brunt of the backlash, and she's responding to all of it. And we're not going to look at everything because honestly, who cares? It's Cardi B. This chick confessed to literally drugging men when she was working as a hooker so she could rob them.
Hey, so listen, I'm gonna let y'all know this right now, okay? So you little trumpets, like, y'all won. I know y'all happy, whatever the fuck. Ain't nobody acting like bitter losers. However, y'all need to leave me the fuck alone, because I got one more fucking cigarette in me before I start lighting your asses up, all right? And that's word to the United States of motherfucking America. Yeah.
Bro, you got to be kidding me. Just stop posting then. Ghost. Disappear. You know that she loves this kind of stuff. If she's posting like, hey, stop messaging me. Stop commenting on my post. Like, that's just going to get people to do it more. It's the rule of the internet. You tell people to do something, they do the complete opposite. It's some weird reverse psychology that happens. She, at the end of the day, loves this attention. There are people like her. There are personalities in entertainment that love having an adversarial relationship with their audience or just with people in general. They love getting their foot stuck in shit and just stirring the pot. And they'll often make these posts gaslighting everybody. Leave me alone. I can't take it anymore. When in fact, they just want to keep fueling that fire because they just feed off of it. It's entertainment to them. At the end of the day, they're just narcissists to different levels, obviously. You know, some are covert narcissists like Boogie, but, you know, in this case, it's classic narcissism. You're just bringing attention. You're like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. No. You're not. Now, don't actually leave me alone. Look at me. Come on. I'm right here. You know, you can't have it both ways. If you really want to be left alone, just leave. Get out of here. It's very easy. You just shut off your phone. Nobody's forcing you to post. And you sure as hell aren't making that much money posting this video. Anyway, Simone Biles also joined the conversation. She said, Mr. Biden, I need you to stand up, straighten your back, and make some things shake before your departure. XOXO, the women of America. I mean, what do you want the man to do? He's barely holding on to life. That's why he didn't run for president, right? We're actually sitting here after literally forgetting that this man existed for the last 2.5 months, ever since he was, magically swept under the rug by the Democrat Party. Now we're all of a sudden, hey, Biden, come out of the shadows, come save the country, come stand up for us after we threw you under the bus and lit it on fire and just left you there watching your rotting corpse without a single person coming in to save you. I mean, this man, I don't know if he's bitter. We can only speculate, but there's so many things that he's done during this campaign that could only lead one to believe that he is very upset with his party, with Nancy Pelosi and with Kamala, and maybe the Obamas too. I don't know what happens behind the scenes. We can only speculate. But now all of a sudden he's a savior. In his last 2 months, where he's supposed to be helping with its transition from one president to the next, he's supposed to just magically, I guess by executive order, pass all of these bills, codify Roe. He's supposed to just pass universal health care completely by himself without the approval of Congress. I mean, how delusional are these people? They don't understand how the government works, and they don't have any interest in understanding how the government works. They just want their will to be done, even if by force. That's why they align themselves with these covert dictatorial personality types, which is exactly what Kamala Harris and, most of the Democrat Party are leaning towards. Like, I know it's a meme at this point, but they seriously have Stalin-esque personality traits to them. The constant lying, the hoaxing, the control of the media, running CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, every single one, like it's state-run media. They all coordinate on message. It's crazy. The fact that they're on that side and they're incapable of seeing it, they're so drenched into the matrix, plugged in and demanding action at the end from the man that you burned alive. Like the sacrificial effigy at the end of the Bohemian Grove. That's who you want to come back and save your ass now. I don't think it's going to happen. Sorry to tell you that. It's not going to happen. Jacksepticeye said, just woke up and saw the news. I really thought she had it. Can't believe people would rather vote for a talking blistered hemorrhoid. Jacksepticeye, noted mentally challenged person. It's the only way I can say this nicely. This man's straight up retarded. I mean, dumb. I live in Los Angeles. The vast majority of people that I know were voting for Trump, okay? A lot of them weren't really talking about it openly, okay? Because they're scared, because right here in this town, you can't be openly conservative or be voting red, Republican, without having some sort of social consequences, being cut out from your social group or, losing out on jobs. But it was evident that in the rest of the country, Trump was doing very well. And I was even thinking about this as we got closer to the election in the last couple of days, when he was doing 3 rallies a day and he was going Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and then he would hit North Carolina the next morning and then go back to Michigan. And it was evident because he won every single one of the swing states. It was evident that he knew that those states were at play. And in the final days of the election, he was hitting those states because he was trying to get every single voter that he could in those states energized to go out and vote early or to just vote day of. And they did a tremendous job. I was hearing from a lot of pundits online saying that he didn't have a ground game, but I don't think he needed one, if that's true, because his strategy at the end ended up bringing all those votes. He ended up coming to California a couple times. I was surprised. Why aren't you out there going to these states that are actually at play? Like, why are you in California? And I think that part of the reason why is because there's a big donor base in California. Orange County, huge Republican community. California has more registered Republicans than any other state in the country. So I think that's why he ended up coming out here. Everything's very strategic. They're not doing this like on a whim, right? They're testing the messaging and they're going to places where they know they can bring out the vote and take those states away from the Democrats, which is what they did. They took Wisconsin, they took Michigan. Everybody was saying she was going to win Georgia, she was going to win North Carolina. They were even saying she was going to win Iowa. I don't know who thought she was going to win Iowa, but you look at that poll, it's 800 people that who the hell knows where they live. Maybe they live in the only Democrat stronghold in Iowa. That's why it came out like that. The rest of the state is very red. He wasn't campaigning down in Florida because he knew he had it in the bag. So, yeah, I mean, you have to be pretty disconnected from politics to think that she had any sort of a chance. Obviously, I'm saying this in retrospect. I believed that he was going to win. I had an inkling that maybe an anomaly would happen for her and she would end up winning, but I believed that he was going to win based on everything that I was following. But it's that kind of sentiment and comment that really shows you that a lot of the people who are backing her have no idea how any of this works. They don't follow it. They don't have any interest in it. They just want that person, that puppet up there that's going to give them a warm, fuzzy feeling that they have good leadership. When in fact, this person is just a face. And the people who are actually pulling the strings and acting against your interests are just, you don't know who they are. They're behind the curtain like the Wizard of Oz, but just a very evil version of the Wizard of Oz.
Burn! Burn America! Burn! Burn America! Burn! You want me in your fucking country after everything? You want me in your country and not be in my favor? You want me in my in your country? No, don't go off now. Boo! Fuck you, America. Fuck you, America. You deserve nothing but hate. Let it go. I hope you love fucking Donald Trump, guys. I hope you fucking love Donald Trump because guess what? He will teach you a lot of things, apparently. And hey, I really wonder if that person lives in America, because if you do and you hate this country that much, then what the hell are you doing here? Like, seriously. And I'm saying this as somebody who chose to live in this country. My entire family lives out abroad. I could be living abroad with them. I could be living in my home country of Brazil. No, I chose to live here. I don't understand how people who live in America burn the flag, spit on the flag. They hate the institutions in this country. I mean, I invite them to go live somewhere else for a little bit and just see how ineffective, inefficient, and just downright awful some bureaucracies can be around the world, and how it can be so unbelievably hard to build a business in other parts of the world. Yes, there are parts of the world that are easier to build businesses, where you have less taxes, where you have less bureaucracy and you know, impediments. Like in Singapore, you can just build a business overnight. You know, you can just start up. But culturally, do you want to live there? No. What makes America the greatest country in the world is that it has everything that you need to not only build a successful life, but culturally, it's very malleable. It's very accepting, and it's the place where you want to be. It's fun. So I don't understand, like, why move out here and have this level of hate for the place that you live in? To me, that just speaks that you're an unhappy person, and regardless of where you're living, you're going to hate the place, even if it's the most wonderful place in the world. Ladies, we need to start considering the 4B movement, like the women in South Korea, and give America a severely sharp birth rate decline. No marriage, no childbirth, no dating men, no sex with men. We can't let these men have the last laugh. We need to bite back. I don't know what the 4B movement is. I don't know what it has to do with South Korea. I'm
too lazy to look that up right now. Clearly it has something to do with abstaining. And this isn't really a novel concept. You can go as far back as the Greeks. There are Greek plays. There's one by Sophocles or Aristophanes. It's called Lysistrata. It's about how an entire town full of women, I think in Sparta, ended up going on a sex strike to cause all the men to stop going to war. And it ended up causing a whole bunch of problems in the town. And I don't know if it was as effective as they wanted it to be. But anyway, this lady wasn't the only one to share this thought. People are posting videos on TikTok discussing this movement.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid. Especially in Florida, because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next plan, and I'm dead fucking serious.
Good. That's good. That's probably the best thing that came out of all this. I'm going to paraphrase something that another dude said on TikTok reacting to this 4B challenge or trend or whatever the hell you want to call it. He said, so it took Donald Trump to be elected for all of you to stop acting like hoes. Do whatever you want to do. I think that the only men who are going to feel affected by this are the men that you actually don't value as women. All the soy boy cucks who are likely addicted to porn, those are the ones who are going to be like, oh no, I can't go and get my beak wet with that mid-ass chick that I met at the bar the other day. Oh no.
Just woke up this morning feeling spicy. You guys feel spicy? Because I do. All right. I don't know how to use this thing. Let's see what happens. Is this cutting off hair? I'm gonna have to cut it shorter than that. Does it down, right? I think that this is too... it's getting hair. Let's see here. Yeah, I gotta cut it. Here we go. Have I given up on America? I've also given up on coloring this hair because, right? Fuck coloring my hair. Fuck having my hair be long and luxurious. Fuck all that shit. Fuck being skinny. Fuck being hot. Fuck being all the things that the patriarchy wants us to be. Because clearly, they don't give a shit about us. And I'm talking to you too. Those of you ladies who have the internalized misogyny required to do what you did. Minorities who are so scared of a woman in power that you'd rather cozy up to the white man just in case some crumbs fall off his plate so that you may eat from them. Yes, scraps.
Who's going to tell this chick that I don't think anybody was going to sleep with her even before she shaved her head? You can 4B for the rest of your life. I don't really see that making a difference to 98% of the men out there. Can somebody explain to me why it's always the 3s and the 2s that are doing stuff like this? All right, this chick said, my husband, a big Trump supporter, lost something huge today. Me, as of 10:10 this morning, we are officially divorced. That's the only silver lining today. To be clear, I'm not crying. I'm not upset at all. We are vastly different people with completely different personalities and opinions. We have 3 teenage daughters who applaud me for taking this step. If you came here to shit on this post, it's absolutely getting deleted. So you're breaking up your family and you're removing the father of your children from your home, likely. That's just how family courts work. Let's be real. Men are essentially almost in every case just get fucked in family court. So you're going to remove them from having contact with their father and then move on to start dating somebody else and just, cause all sorts of issues and trust issues to these girls because you don't agree with his political point of view, because he voted for somebody you don't agree with, because you're incapable of having any sort of self-control and self-regulate. And, some people out there just don't know how fortunate they are to have a family, to have all this abundance of blessings, and then they just throw it all away because they're intolerant. It's ironic, right? How the left presents themselves as the most tolerant people, but they will destroy everything in their life for the sake of having a petty comeback at somebody for disagreeing politically with them. It's unstable, and they're constantly making an argument for why they shouldn't be trusted with any sort of leadership whatsoever. Anyway, folks, I think it's important to keep in mind as we watch all of these people succumb to fear to not lose hope. I think that people who have a broader vision of what it means to be an American and to exist in this country understand that. It's not always about getting your way. That's how democracies work. It's a balance of power, right? We even see that in our government with the 3 branches of government, right? The executive, the legislative, and the judicial. They all balance each other's power so that power isn't centralized in one branch of the government, thus creating tyranny, right? But a lot of the people that we saw today, funny enough, all of them on the left, they don't understand that concept. They're petulantly stomping their feet like toddlers at the idea that they're not going to get their way And that's just not how life works. A lot of these people are in for a rude awakening outside of how the political system works. Like, that's just not how life works. You don't always get your way. You have to just roll with the punches, make the best of things, and that's just what it is. And I think that the diversity of opinions in this country is what makes it such an amazing place to live in. Because if we lived in a place that has homogenous ideas, we would be so much weaker. But yeah, that's it. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.